Hi, sixth grade. It's Mrs. Conant, and sorry about the confusion with the video not being up yesterday. I meant for it to go up today, so sorry if that confused any of you, but we have another video today. Today we're going to be continuing to talk about integers, and remember that integers, the definition of integers, are whole numbers and their opposites. So that would mean positive and negative numbers. So what I mean is -1 and +1, -2 and +2, -150, +150. All of those are examples of integers. And today we're going to talk about how to add integers. And so go ahead and make sure you have your journal and a pencil handy because you're going to be taking some notes. So make sure you're ready before you move on. Okay, one way that you can add integers is to use an algebra mat, and we're actually going to be using these tomorrow in class. I'm going to show you an example of one on this video, but tomorrow you're actually going to have hands-on experience using an algebra mat. So go ahead and write down each one of these instructions as I go through them. So in order to use an algebra mat, the first thing we would do is we would draw the first addend on the mat. Okay, go ahead and write that down. I know that might not make sense to you right at this moment, but go ahead and just write it down, and in just a minute you're going to see what I mean. Okay, the second thing is then you're going to draw the second addend on the mat. Okay, third thing that you need to write down is a positive counter and a negative counter cancel each other out to make 0. Again, if you're a little bit confused, okay, don't worry, in just a minute you're going to see what I mean. I'm going to show you a quick example of this. If you had +1 plus -1, they would cancel each other out and it would equal 0. Okay, 1 plus a -1, which means to take away 1, would give you 0. Okay, and the fourth thing that I want you to write down is the answer is the number of counters that have not been canceled out. Okay, so go ahead and finish writing that down, and then I'm going to show you an example of an algebra mat, and we're going to work through an addition problem together. Okay, here is an example of what an algebra mat would look like, and you can see it's divided into two sections. The left side is negative, and we have a negative sign in red, and then the right side is positive, and we have our positive sign or our addition sign in black. And so if I were to give you a problem that looked like this, -7 plus 3, the way we would use our algebra mat in order to figure out, or in order to solve this problem, is we would first begin by putting our negative, we're going to take our negative number and we're going to put that number of counters on that side of the mat. So we have -7, so we would put 7 counters on that side of the mat. Then we would work over to our positive side, and we have 3 as our positive number, so we would put 3 counters on that side. Now, in order to solve this problem, we would then begin canceling out pairs. What I mean by that is 1 positive counter and 1 negative counter. And we have to have pairs in order to cancel them out. So we would do this 3 times. We have 3 pairs. And what you're left with is what your answer is going to be. That would be the sum. -7 plus 3 is going to be equal to 4, and it actually is equal to -4. You can see the counters that are left are on the negative side, and so -7 plus 3 is going to equal -4. There's a little typo on this video. Okay, let's try another one. So here we have our problem of -6 plus -2. So in this case, we're adding 2 negative numbers. So we're going to do it the same way. We're going to start by putting the number of counters that we have on our negative side. So we have -6, and then we also have -2. In this problem, we do not have any positive counters. So all we would do is we would then just add up the negative counters that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our answer would be -8. Okay, another way that we can add integers besides using an algebra mat is to use a number line. And this might be easier for you guys. So whichever one is easier for you, you can use tomorrow as we work through our assignment. But if you go ahead and pick up your pencil again, and I want you to write down these instructions. So if you're using a number line and we're adding integers, the first thing you're going to do is you're always going to begin at 0. Okay? Always, you're going to begin at 0. Then you're going to draw an arrow to the first addend. Okay, that's the second step. The third step is from the first addend, draw a second arrow right to add a positive number or left to add a negative number. And the final step is that the final stopping place is the sum or the answer. So let's take a look. Let's actually put those steps into practice and see how that works. So here is an addition problem. We have -3 plus -1. So we're going to begin at 0 and we're going to move 3 places to the left, okay, because our first addend is -3. So we're going to move 3 places to the left and we end up at -3. Now we move to our second addend and that's also a negative number, -1. And so we move 1 more space to the left and we end up at -4. So -3 plus -1 equals -4. Okay, let's do another practice problem. Here we have a negative and a positive number, so -5 plus 4. So we're going to start at 0 again, and we're going to move 5 spaces to the left because we have -5. And then we're going to start at that -5, but we're going to move 4 places to the right because 4 is positive, so we need to go in the positive direction. So we move 4 places to the right, and we end up at -1. So -5 plus 4 is -1. Okay, so that is what we're going to be working on tomorrow. We're going to be working on adding integers, positive and negative, and we're going to be using both a number line and we're going to be using an algebra mat. So that's it for our video tonight. It was a very short video. You do a few practice problems. Tomorrow I'd like to see your video notes, and I'd also like to see practice problems on page 378, 1, 5, and 17. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow morning.